for Team Nepal as they have secured a place at the World Cup Global Qualifiers with a nerve-wracking win over the United Arab Emirates. The host nation was tested to the limit, chasing a daunting target of 311 runs. The going was never easy with the fall of early wickets. However, the middle order held its nerve to script a history and a memorable victory. Good evening, I'm Sarah Chitrakar and these are the headlines of the hour. Nepal register a thrilling victory under Duckworth-Lewis over United Arab Emirates. Nepal's young guns shine with the bat to chase a massive target, make it to global qualifiers. The Election Commission says all preparations for the election of the Vice President complete. The ruling alliance yet to pick its consensus candidate. Bagmati Province Chief Minister Shaligram Jamakotel to receive the vote of confidence within the 22nd of March, corresponds with Province Assembly Secretariat. And European markets open higher today after troubled bank Credit Suisse secures a $54 billion funding deal. Stock markets across Europe rebound while Credit Suisse's share price. The Election Commission has said that all preparations for the election of the Vice President have been completed. Voting for the third Vice President of the country is scheduled for tomorrow. With 3 candidates from the ruling alliance and 1 from CPN-UML, a total of 4 candidates are in the race to become the new Vice President from the election, which will be held at the Federal Parliament building in New Banishar. Despite the registration of 3 candidacies from the 10-party alliance, 1 candidate had announced of withdrawing the candidacy. Team Nepal have secured their direct spot for the ICC World Cup Global Qualifiers as they secured a 9-run win on DL method against the United Arab Emirates. The last match of the ICC World Cricket League 2 series was cut short due to bad light at the Tribhuvan University Cricket Grounds in Kantipur. Nepal were chasing the massive target of 311 runs posted by the United Arab Emirates. At the end of the 44th over, Nepal required to be at 260 runs for the loss of 6 wickets, but they were 9 runs ahead and therefore were adjudged the winners. In the match played at the Tribhuvan University Cricket Grounds in Kantipur, the UAE had won the toss and elected to bat, where they posted a total of 310 runs for the loss of 6 wickets. Asif Khan top scored for the UAE as he remained unbeaten at 101 runs from just 42 balls. He smashed 11 sixes and hit the fence on 4 occasions. Ritya Arvind missed his century by 6 runs as he was caught on the last ball of the UAE innings as his individual score of 94 runs. Earlier, skipper Mohammad Wasim had scored 63 runs from 49 balls. Dipendra Singh Aide was the pick of the Nepali bowlers with 2 wickets, while Lalit Rajbangsi, Sompal Kami and Sandeep Lamichhane shared a wicket apiece. In reply, Nepal did not have an ideal start and were reduced to 37 runs for the loss of 3 wickets. However, Kushal Bhurtel, Abhim Sarki, Arif Sheikh and Gulshan Jha revived Nepal's hopes. Bhurtel scored 50, Sarki added 67 runs, while Sheikh contributed 52 runs, while Gulshan Jha remained unbeaten at 50 runs. The 10-party ruling alliance has yet to finalize its candidate for the post of Vice President, the election of which has been scheduled for tomorrow. An agreement had earlier been reached to let Janata Samajwadi Party have the post while forming the alliance equation. However, Janamat Party has staked their claims as well, raising complications for consensus. A meeting had been held yesterday at the Prime Minister's official residence in Balwatar, which ended inconclusively. Nepali Congress, meanwhile, following a meeting yesterday, has decided to lend their support to Ram Sahaya Yadav, fielded by Janata Samajwadi Party. Janamat Party has meanwhile fielded Mamata Jha as their candidate. CPN-UML has fielded Ashtalakshmi Shakya as their candidate for the post. The government has revised details of labour permit it issues for those going abroad for employment. According to the Ministry of Labour, Employment and Social Security, labour permits will be issued based on the duration of the contract that migrant workers have with their employers. The ministry has also announced that Nepalese will be allowed to renew their permits from embassies in destination country itself. According to the ministry, there are 2.2 million Nepalese working in foreign nations at present. Bagmati Province Chief Minister Shaligram Jamakatel is to receive the vote of confidence within the 22nd of March. In his correspondence to the Province Assembly Secretariat, Jamakatel informed about seeking the vote of confidence. Provincial Parliamentary Party leader of CPN Maoist Centre, Jamakatel, was appointed the Chief Minister of Bagmati Province on the 9th of January as provisioned by the Sub-Article 2 of Article 168 of the Constitution of Nepal with the support of 70 Provincial Assembly members. He had then received the trust vote from 105 among the 110 Provincial Assembly members on the 17th of January. However, following the change in political equation at the centre, Rashtriya Prajatantra Party had withdrawn its support and quit the government, which required Jamakatel to regain the vote of confidence. We'll take a short break here. We have more news coming up. The price of gold has reached 106,700 rupees per the Nepali unit tola, which is 11.7 grams. According to the Federation of Nepal Gold and Silver Dealers Association, the price of gold has increased by 1,000 rupees today. Following the increase, gold now costs as much as it did in the Nepali month of Magh, when the price was 107,500 rupees. The price of gold has increased as investors have prioritized gold after an American bank went bankrupt. According to dealers, despite the daily demand of gold standing at 20 kg in Nepali month of Chaitra, the Nepal Rashtra Bank has allowed import of only 10 kilograms. The price of milk has been increased between 11 to 16 rupees per litre. Dairy Development Corporation, Development Board and industries have decided to increase the price of milk by 11 to 16 rupees per litre. The increased price of milk has come into effect today. According to the DDC, the price of the most sold standard milk has been set at 97 rupees per litre. Prior to this, the standard milk was available at 86 rupees per litre. The meeting of the Council of Ministers held on the 3rd of March had decided to increase the purchase cost of milk by 9 rupees to 65 rupees per litre. According to DDC spokesperson Rajendra Bahadur Adhikari, milk processing centers, collectors and cooperatives will also be benefited by the rise in price. Farmers have protested the decision of the government to reduce subsidies for chemical fertilizers. Umbrella organizations of farmers have held a protest at the Maitighar in Kathmandu today. The government had reduced subsidies on chemical fertilizers by up to 80% on Monday. The protesting entities have alleged the government of treating the farmers in an unfair manner, especially when the cost of production was increasing by reducing the subsidies on chemical fertilizers. Time now for our segment, Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
Here's the question: what should be done to protect consumers from being swindled? Your options are A. Consumers should be self-aware, B. Effective monitoring, and C. Strict laws. Voting is on. Tap any WS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. Time now for international update. European markets opened higher on Thursday after troubled bank Credit Suisse secure a $54 billion funding deal. Stock markets across the UK, France and Germany rebounded, while Credit Suisse's share price surged by 40%. Overnight, Credit Suisse said it would borrow up to $54 billion from Switzerland's central bank to shore up its finances. Fears that Credit Suisse's issues could cause a wider banking crisis had sent stock markets tumbling on Wednesday. The main stock market indexes in London, Frankfurt and Paris opened at much higher as 1.7% higher. Credit Suisse had sought help from Swiss National Bank after revealing it had found a material weakness in its financial reporting. It led its biggest shareholder, Saudi National Bank, declaring that it would not buy more shares in the bank, sparking panic among other investors. Switzerland's central bank said Credit Suisse had the money it needed, but stressed it was ready to step in and help if needed. The trilateral security partnership between the United States, the United Kingdom and Australia, or the AUKUS, is the worst international decision made by a Labour Party government since World War I, former Australian Prime Minister Paul Keating said on Wednesday. The former Prime Minister, who served in the post from 1991 to 1996, made his criticisms at the National Press Club of Australia. On Tuesday morning, Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, US President Joe Biden and British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak jointly announced Australia's acquisition of nuclear submarines. Local newspaper The Australian estimated that the deal will cost 268 billion to 368 billion Australian dollars by mid-2050. 8 AUKUS-class submarines will be built in Adelaide, the capital of South Australia, with the first to be completed by 2042. In the interim, Australia will acquire 3 US-made Virginia-class subs as soon as the early 2030s. British and US submarines will begin regular port visits and a rotational presence in Australia. China adjusted its policies regarding foreign entry visas to facilitate exchanges with other countries and boost tourism and businesses. This is the first adjustment in 3 years since the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic. In South China's Guangdong province, visa-free entry has resumed for tour groups of foreigners who live or land in the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region and Macau SAR. The passenger flow is relatively low on the first day of the resumption, but passengers' sentiment is high. In 2022, 115.7 million cross-border trips were made in and out of China, with foreigners only accounting for about 4.5 million. This was much lower than in 2019. China's latest move is expected to reverse this trend. Besides tourism, two-way business between China and the world will likely pick up. The 2023 Canton Fair, China's largest trade fair, will open on April 15 to fully resume the offline exhibition. And for the first time, the 4th exhibition hall will be put into use, bringing the total exhibition area to 1.5 million square meters, as big as 210 football fields. Japan's Defense Minister Yasukazu Hamada hosted a trilateral meeting today with British and Italian counterparts to discuss a jet fighter project, which marks the country's first major industrial defense collaboration beyond the United States since World War II. The three nations announced in December the Global Combat Air Program (GCAP) venture to develop by 2035 a next-generation jet, which would combine the British-led Tempest project with Japan's FX program. The project is expected to cost tens of billions of dollars before the new jet fighter enters service around the middle of the next decade. Sources said Britain and Japan are set to dominate the project, with Italy to build an advanced jet fighter, with Rome set to pay around only a fifth of the overall development cost. The trilateral partnership came together last year as France, Germany and Spain moved forward with a rival plan to build a warplane in a broad European bid to strengthen security against the backdrop of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Britain is set to announce a ban on TikTok on government phones on Thursday, PA Media reported, a move that would follow other Western countries who have barred the Chinese-owned video app over security concerns. TikTok has come under increasing scrutiny due to fears that user data from the app owned by Beijing-based company ByteDance could end up in the hands of the Chinese government, undermining Western security interests. Britain's National Cybersecurity Centre has been reviewing whether TikTok should be barred from government phones, while the United States, Canada, Belgium and the European Commission have already banned the app. When asked about potential ban on TikTok, Security Minister Tom Tugendhat said earlier in the week that understanding the challenges posed by these apps was incredibly important. TikTok has said it would be disappointed by such a ban. The government is expected to make a statement on the security of its devices later on Thursday. American space agency NASA has unveiled a prototype for the spacesuit that astronauts will wear on the next mission to the moon, scheduled for 2025. The suit's features, including a light band, high-definition cameras, and upgraded mobility, were demonstrated during an event at Space Center, Houston in Texas. According to NASA, Axiom Space was the company selected to create the suits for the Artemis 3rd mission, building on NASA's years of research and expertise. Artemis 3 is expected to land astronauts, including the first woman on Moon, following 2 Artemis test missions. We have more news coming up, but right now it's time for another short break. Time now for Sports Update.
Sports News brought to you by Lakshmi Steel, Nepal mein guaranteed #1 quality.
Gianni Infantino has been re-elected as FIFA president during the 73rd Congress in Kigali on Thursday, promising record revenues in the next 4-year cycle of $11 billion as he called for more football to be played around the world. Infantino stood unopposed, making his re-election as head of football's governing body a formality, even if he's not universally popular among member associations amid controversies, including the treatment of migrant workers in the run-up to last year's World Cup in Qatar and a failed plan to play the tournament every 2 years. Infantino confirmed FIFA's income hit record levels in the last cycle from 2019 to 2022, but promised to substantially raise this again on the back of expanded men's and women's World Cup tournaments and the introduction of a 32-team Club World Cup. Amid the financial success of his 7-year in office, Infantino has also courted controversy that has made him unpopular with some member associations. He accused critics of host Qatar's human rights record of hypocrisy and racism at the World Cup. The tournament in the desert state led to a significant amount of political discussion around the host's treatment of migrant labor, its approach to LGBTQ rights, and FIFA's threats to penalize players for political statements.
So it's a big responsibility for FIFA, for you, for the world. We are promising you new record revenues for the next 4-year cycle of $11 billion. So
before wrapping up, here's a look at the top stories once again. For the moment, our next English bulletin will be at 10:30 tonight. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.